Ever wondered how you can try to develop a more authentic self image? What is self image exactly? Or self image is the way that we view ourselves. How do you see yourself? You might view yourself like a parent. Some person may say, I'm a parent. I know a lot of person says, I'm a divorcee. I'm a single mom. I'm a widow. I'm a construction worker. Some people may say, I'm intelligent or I'm a middle aged woman. Our self image really is the way that we see ourselves. And many times, I believe that our view of ourselves is very myopic. There's so much more to who you are than just a mom. And being a mom is important, but you can become more, so much more than you've ever dreamed if you really take time to understand and pay attention to your self image. So you're more than your gender, you're more than your age, you're more than your career, you're more than the house that you own, in my opinion. I just think that, our self image is really, as children of God, especially, who God says that we are. You are a unique person, first to begin with. The Bible tells us that we are royal people, a holy nation. We are peculiar. So there's no other you. There's nobody else like you. You're actually a designer's original. So one thing, first of all, you are a unique person with nuances, proclivities that is just unique to you alone. And that's why we don't need to compare ourselves to anyone else. Think about what you bring to the world when you walk into a room. What do you bring? What do people know you for? How do you see yourself in the world, and how do others see you? When you think of who you are and you align that with the things that you do, you're really living authentically. All right, so let me use myself as an example. I love cooking. I love feeding people. I love nutrition. I love naturopathy. Anyone who has a flu or stomach pain or has anything, they will call me and say, what can I take for this? I have a virus. I have this, because it's been decades, that people know that I am known for culinary, for naturopathy. And not only that, um, praying. I love to pray. So someone will just call me and ask me to pray. Counseling, I love that. So think about the things about you that are really authentic to you. Most of us view ourselves in a way that we limit ourselves. So authentic people really act honestly. They are people who are honest. They live, they are real. Let's just say authentic people are real. They do not try to live to impress or to please others. And that's the key to authenticity. The benefits of being an authentic person helps you to succeed at whatever you're doing in life because you're not comparing yourself. You free yourself of that stress of trying to live up to the expectation of others. Another thing is your self esteem. You develop a healthy self esteem when you're authentic. You respect others as well. And, you gain that respect of others because you are being authentically you. You have that inner peace as well because you know, you're in alignment with your beliefs. You live in alignment with what you believe. You live in alignment. You don't have to pretend, you're just authentically you. And that honesty brings freedom. So those that live lives that are misaligned with their values, someone may say, I'm a child of God, but they're living a life that doesn't line up. The thoughts, the actions, it doesn't line up. Their beliefs, their attitudes, it doesn't line up. Or maybe someone else says, um, I'm a person of faith, but that person is constantly worrying or anxious. Then that person is not living in alignment or being authentic. And yes, many of us, we know people that suffer from anxiety, guilt, and shame, but it will be easier for us to really say, I am a child of God, a child of faith, and sometimes I struggle with becoming anxious. But I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm applying God's word to my life. When I become anxious, I rest in His arms, I rest in His word. So we never really get there overnight, or sometimes we never really get there totally at all. But the key is to work towards being authentic. It's really liberating to be an authentic person. So I want to share some steps with you that you can follow to determine your true self and live, in a way in alignment with your beliefs and the Word of God. So first of all, you want to identify your core values. What is core values? What do you value? What matters to you? What is important to you? What what things that you think? What do you do? How do you live? Do you align with those values and beliefs? So first of all, you got to know those values. So I would say my values are faith, family, friendship. You have to have these values. And because you value your faith, you're not going to make some decisions, do some things. Family is important. Friends, genuine friends, relationships. You're going to live in alignment with those values. You're going to live people oriented, focused on loving others, relating, communicating. So setting these core values really helps you to live authentically. So I want to encourage you, make a list of your own values, create this list and include everything you can think about that applies to you. And when you do that, I want you to go down to 10 values. And then I want you to narrow that list down now from 10 to about 3 or 4 values, because it's easier to work on yourself if you focus on 3 values and you really focus on, this is how I operate. So let's say you value honesty, you value integrity. You would want to live in a place where you live up to your word. When you say something, you show up and you do it, even when it's inconvenient. So the second one is you want to determine if you have any conflicts. A lot of times we have inner conflicts, inner turmoil, and you might say, I have this value, but how you're responding, how you're relating to others, it's not in alignment, and it brings this inner turmoil. So if you really want to live in a place where you are secure in who you are, you live up to your responsibilities, you really want to make sure that you are not conflicting those values. So first identify the values and then look to see if you have any inner conflicts. As I was saying before, you may say, I'm a person of faith, but you're struggling with fear. You want to face that fear and ask yourself, why am I fearful? What has transpired in my life that has made me come to this place where I'm always worried or I'm anxious? How can I overcome this fear? Why am I not abiding in God's love? Why don't I believe that I'm secure, that nothing can happen to my life outside of His purview unless I put myself in harm's way? When you start thinking that way and really aligning yourself with those values. All right. So when you're faced with inner conflict, you're likely to shut down and do nothing. A lot of people do that. Some people become paralyzed. Some people become, indecisive. They can't make a decision. You're insecure about your own thoughts. You're not sure which way to go. Should I do this? Should I do that? You're always seeking, answers from others. You're always seeking to see what others think because you don't value your own thoughts. So it's possible to be in that kind of conflict and think back of times that you struggled to make a decision and see if this is true for you. You couldn't even simply decide to choose a job or choose a dress to wear. Or it's just like you're in this place of conflict and start looking at, how can I deal with this inner conflict and really start, you know, making the choices that align with my values and my beliefs. So if you have any values listed that aren't really a priority to you, you really won't follow through on it. You want to make sure that you prioritize these values. So take time to determine your values, disregard what other thinks, what others feel, and really it boils down to what God thinks. It boils down to how you want to live in a way to please Him and also to be there for those that count on you. 3, you want to create an action plan for each value. And that might seem like, what is this all about? But it's really just, like if you're creating a budget or writing down something, you want to start just writing down some things, that, okay, let's say I value trust. What are some action plans? I am writing this down. 1, I am going to trust God and hold Him at His word. So I may have a situation facing me and I don't know how the outcome will be. But guess what? I don't need to know what the outcome will be. I do my part. I pray. If there's some action I need to take, I take those actions and then I put this situation in God's hand, trusting Him to work it out. And so you want to walk in that place of trust. Maybe you have a good friend, a parent, a church sister or brother. you want to learn to build that trust. Speak to that person, pray with that person, talk with that person, and allow that person to stand with you. So you want to build that trust, not just only trust in God, but you also want to build relationships of trust. You also want to be a trustworthy person. When someone says something to you, you walk in integrity and you protect that person by not uncovering what they have shared with you. So you want to really be a person that walk in trust. Another thing you want to do, you can also do is like you can just make a list of, take note of the things that you enjoy that align with your values. So like I was saying, cooking, family time, those are things that I value. So you want to really make those things a priority and spend time with those that you love. Helping others, that's another valuable thing to me. So if helping others is something that brings you joy, you want to set aside time, to be able to help others with whether it's your knowledge, your skills, your faith, whatever way that you can help others, you want to be able to do that. I know some persons, they can help others by just being very encouraging, supportive. So think of ways that you can, live in alignment with those values. Another thing you want to do is you want to evaluate yourself at the end of each day. You see, taking that time to develop is necessary. We have to pay attention to things as we won't grow. You can just hear this and it goes through one ear and it comes back out. But if you really want to be that person who lives in an authentic way, it's going to take time to evaluate things about yourself. So at the end of the night, you want to think about, what did I fail on today? How did I not align with my values? What did I do that was a little bit out of alignment? And you want to contemplate these things. You can also pray about it. You can take note of it, journal it, and really take that time to really focus in, especially when it gets challenging, on being your authentic self. So understand that your self-image has to be in alignment with your values, and it's necessary to identify and choose those values out. Then construct a life with the help of God and those around you that allows you to live those values consistently. Don't make any apology for being a person of faith, a person who doesn't have to know how it will work out, but who trusts God to make a way. You don't have to be liked. People may not be comfortable with that, but if that's who you are, be authentically you and consistently stand for what you believe in. Stand in your faith. See, authenticity, and sometimes I get a tongue tie with this word. Authenticity really eliminates all the common, unnecessary emotions and distress and turmoil inside when we decide to live in alignment. It's not always easy to choose to be authentic, but I encourage you to be bold, to choose the person that you are, the person that God has called you to be, and the person that you want to become, and live according to that. Live in alignment with that. The benefits of authenticity are tremendous. So be the authentic you. You were born original. Don't die a copy.